we're going to work on the back part of the car. So first we're just going to take a look at the reference image. So we see back here we've got this curvature here, and we also have this ending a little bit before this like we talked about, and then it actually starts curving back this way towards the center of the car. So if you take a look at this picture, it's a little bit easier to see that it actually starts curving back in this direction. So it has sort of a boomerang shape to it, where it actually starts curving back towards the center of the car. So we need to create this curvature here and then have it angled back. You can kind of see how it's angled back here, and this is angled back as well. So we're going to want to create that. So what we want is back here, we want to take this vertex and just bring it back a little bit to create that spacing between the end of the light and then this part right here. And then you see that backward angle when it goes down. So this part right here needs to have more of a backward angle to it, and we're just going to kind of straighten this out so we have a nice straighter line right there. Then we can just do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring this down, hold control, snap it there, and again we'll bring this one back, and we want to try to contain or keep that straight line, just kind of keep it sort of like this. The other thing we want to do is take these three and then just sort of match that angle. So you want to just bring these back and sort of match the angle to this, because you can tell that this part's angled back too, even though there is that little curve right there. So we want a nice little backward angle to this part as well, which we hadn't had until this point. So now we have the basic framework for this. So we're going to take these right here. So we're going to take these four, and we're just going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring them to the center, and that will merge them at the center. We can also do A twice, Control N, tab into object mode, turn on smooth shading, and we're going to go back to edit mode. We're going to delete these two vertices, so select these two, do delete, and choose vertices. We want to create that curvature around this part here. So what we're actually going to do is go to edge select, and we're going to select these three edges, and we're just going to delete them temporarily. So we're just going to do delete and choose edges, and we're going to go back to vertex select. You can do Z for wireframe and select this vertex. So that makes sure we just have two edges to work with, and same for the center vertex. We're going to hold shift and select that one so we have both of these, and it just has two edges to work with, so we can get that rounded curvature that we're looking for right here. We want this rounded curvature, and it's the same all the way through, so we want the same curvature in the center as on the side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do Control Shift and B to do a vertex bevel, and mouse wheel up once, and then just go until you have the curvature that you want. So this looks similar, I think, to the curvature of the car. You can kind of just compare it and just do whatever you think looks best, but that looks pretty good to me. So we're going to take these four, we're going to press F, and then we can take these two and just continue pressing F and fill in the rest of that, and you can see we're starting to get the shape of the car. So another thing you want to look at on the back is that actually this part kind of curves up a bit. So instead of having it a straight line, kind of like what we have it right now, because we don't have very much geometry, so we have a straight line, it actually curves up some. So we can add a little bit of geometry to create that upward curve just by doing Control R, left clicking and dragging to about here, and then just bringing this up on the Z-axis. And you can even just bring it back some if you want, or you can just adjust this until you're getting the shape that you want, the shape that kind of curves up a little bit better, a little bit closer to the way it's supposed to according to the reference. So just kind of adjust this until you're a little more satisfied with the shape of this. You can even alt right click here and just adjust this one a bit, just move it up slightly so that it softens up the curve right here and just kind of makes it a little bit smoother in that area. If we wanted this to be totally realistic, we'd probably need some more vertices here. So like we'd have to add in another edge loop right here and continue adding some more curvature. But I think this is close enough. But if you wanted to, you could add another edge loop and try to make this a little bit more curved, sort of like it is right here. But that's going to add in more geometry, so that's really up to you. So now what we need to do is just start filling this in. So we're going to go back to edit mode, And we're going to grab these four, and we're just going to press F to make that into a face. And we're going to grab these four here, and we'll press F again. And you can do this in wireframe too if you want, if it makes it a little bit easier. And we'll just do those four, and then we'll take these two, we can press F. And we're going to need another edge loop to meet up with this one, so we can just do Control R, left click, drag this up a little. And then grab these four, press F, and then these two, and press F and fill that in. So now we have everything filled in, nice and quads. This one's a little bit of a strange quad, but I mean, you could make this a triangle if you really wanted to, just by selecting those and doing J to join those, but that's up to you. So the other thing, we kind of want like a crease line right here. You can see you kind of have this crease line going along. And for that, we just have to add in a bevel, so we can just Alt right click, Alt and Shift right click, and do Control E, edge bevel weight, and then go until it says 1 in the bottom left, and left click. So it should have said 1 right there. When you do Control E, edge bevel weight, should be +1. And now you have a little bit of a crease right there. And then the last thing we're going to do, we're just going to go back to edit mode. We're going to take this vertex, shift select this one, we're going to do Alt M and choose that center. That'll merge those at the center. And we want to start filling in this area here, so we can take these three and we'll just press F. We'll just do triangles for this part because quads really wouldn't work out too well for this. So we're just going to do some triangles here for these corners. And one thing we want to take a look at is it actually has sort of an upward curve. You can see the center is a bit higher up, and then this part is actually lower than the side. So we need this part where the curve is to be lower than the side and also lower than this point. So we want to make sure that there's an upward curvature to this point. This point needs to be up higher than the rest of this. And then these points here, we can take these, we're going to bring them down on the Z-axis, hold Control, snap them there, and then we're just going to bring them up slightly because there is some upward curvature to that part of the car. You can tell, you know, it goes up in this direction, so this part needs to have an upward curve a bit. And I'm going to bring this one up a bit more than that until I'm happy, and I'm just going to make sure smooth shading's on. And once you're done adjusting your points here, you're just going to save this by going to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.